Good morning, students. In the today's class, we will discuss the fundamentals of fluid flow. Okay. So, in the previous classes, we have discussed the properties of the fluids, the important properties of the fluids, then the Newton's viscosity law, that is dynamic viscosity and kinematic viscosity. We have also discussed the pressure exerted by the static mass of fluid on the surfaces and variation of this pressure distribution or pressure, and we have also derived the differential equation, how the pressure varies with respect to x, y and z direction. As from that differential equation, it is very clear that the pressure always varies in the vertical direction and pressure variation in all other directions is zero. So that we have discussed. Pascal's law also we have discussed. So in the Pascal's law, so that is Px is equal to Py is equal to Pz, that is the pressure intensity in all directions is remains same on a fluid particle when the fluid is under the static condition. So then we have also discussed how to measure the pressure in the pipe by using the manometers. Okay, we also discussed the different types of manometers. Okay, and next the types of manometers. So these are the things. Then we have discussed the pressure exerted by the static mass of fluid on the surfaces or on the planes when the plane is immersed in the horizontal direction, when the plane is immersed in the vertical direction, and when the plane is immersed in the inclined direction. And we have also discussed the pressure variation and how to calculate the total pressure and its point of application when the surface of the plane is curved, vertical, horizontal and inclined. So all these things we have discussed. Now in the today's class we will discuss the fundamentals of fluid flow. Okay, as in the very first class I have told, in the study of fluid mechanics we are using the three basic principles, that is the law of conservation of mass, the law of conservation of energy and the law of conservation of momentum. Okay, these are the three basic principles, and these three basic principles are based on the three Newton's laws of motions. Okay, so now we will start making the use of those basic principles to study the fluid flow, Okay, that is law of conservation of mass. So that principle states the mass neither created nor destroyed. Okay, so based on that, in the study of fluid flow, it is required to derive the continuity equation. So the necessity of continuity equation is to know whether the fluid is under the stationary condition or under the moving condition, or in other words, if the fluid is, whether it is flowing continuously. Okay, so the importance of continuity equation is, if the continuity equation satisfied, then we can say that the flow is continuous. Okay, if the continuity equation is not satisfied, the flow is discontinuous, and this continuity equation we are going to derive based on the first law of principle, that is science principle, that is the law of conservation of mass. Okay, before going to start discussion on that. So let us see, when the fluid is under the static condition, when the fluid is under the static condition or under the stationary state, the dominating fluid property is its unit weight. Okay, when the fluid is under the static or under the stationary condition, the dominating fluid property is only its unit weight. Okay, but when fluid is under the motion, when the fluid is under the motion or under the moving, the various other properties will also takes dominating role. Okay, dominating role. Now, in the study of fundamentals of fluids, we have two parts. One is the kinematics and kinematics of fluid flow, and another one is the kinetics. Okay, of fluid flow. You can also call this as a hydrokinematics, because we are also studying the kinematics of solids and kinetics of solids. So you can call it as the hydrokinematics or hydrokinetics. When you are applying the basic principles of kinematics and kinetics for the water, you can call it as the hydrokinematics and hydrokinetics. So, or simply you can call kinematics and kinetics. As you are studied in the first and second semester, when you are studied the elements of civil engineering subject, in that subject you are studied the mechanics. Okay, engineering mechanics. Okay, in the engineering mechanics also you have studied the kinematics and kinetics. The kinematics and kinetics involves the study of motion of the body if it is used for the solids, and if the same principles used for the water, then it is hydrokinematics or hydrokinetics. That is nothing but the study of motion. So study of motion means what? In the study of motion, we are interested to know velocity and acceleration, etc. Okay. So the study of geometry of solid, okay, without considering the external force which is causing the motion of the body, that is called kinematics. Okay, that is very clear. So in the kinematics you have studied the geometry of the solid body, that is its velocity, acceleration, etc., without considering the external force which is causing the motion. Okay, without considering the external force or external agency which is causing the motion of the body, the study of velocity, accelerations is known as kinematics. Okay. Similarly, in case of the fluid mechanics also, the hydrokinematics means the study of geometry of motion of fluid flow, the study of geometry of fluid motion without considering the external agency or external force which is causing the motion. Okay, that is called kinematics, or also you can call statics. You can also call statics. Okay. So in the kinematics, we are studying the geometry of the fluid flow, that is the velocity of fluid flow, acceleration of fluid flow, etc. But without considering the external force, which is causing the motion of the fluid, or you can call it statics. Then what is kinetics? Kinetics or hydrokinetics. Hydrokinetics is nothing but the study of geometry of fluid flow, considering the external forces which are causing the motion. So that is called simply kinetics or hydrokinetics. So in the hydrokinetics, we are considering the external forces which are causing the motion. But in case of kinematics, without considering the external forces which are causing the motion, the study of geometry of the fluid flow is known as hydrokinematics or simply statics, and hydrokinetics you can call it is as the dynamics. Okay, hydrokinematics, kinetics is nothing but the hydrodynamics. It means considering the external force which is causing the motion. So this is mainly based on Newton's second law of motion, that is force is equal to mass into acceleration. That is the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the external force. Okay, so if you are considering that external force which is causing the motion of the fluid, then that study is called hydrokinetics or simply kinetics, or also you can call as the dynamics. Without considering the external force which is causing the motion of the fluid, then without considering the external force which is causing the motion, the study of motion is known as the hydrokinematics or statics. Okay, so the definitions are very, very simple. It should be very, very clear in your mind. So the basic in the study of kinematics, we are using the basic principle, that is law of conservation of mass. That is the Newton's first law of motion. Okay, the entire study of kinematics, it depends on the Newton's first law of motion, that is mass neither created nor destroyed. Okay, without considering the external force which is going to cause the motion of the fluid. Okay, because now in this class we are discussing about the water or about the fluid. So with respect to fluid only, applications of those principles. Okay, then if you are considering the external force which is causing the motion, then it is nothing but the dynamics. Whatever in the analysis of kinetics, whatever the basic equations we are deriving, those basic equations are based on the Newton's second law of motion, that is the momentum principle, impulse momentum principle, then the energy equation. Okay, in the subsequent classes we will discuss all those things. So now in the today's class we will discuss the kinematics of fluid flow, or simply hydrokinematics or statics. So hydrokinematics means the study of geometry of fluid flow, that is the study of velocity, acceleration, etc., the components of velocity, acceleration, etc. That is called the geometry, the study of this geometry without considering the external force which is causing the motion. This is very, very important point what I am telling. Without considering the external force which is causing the motion of the fluid, the study of geometry of that flow is known as hydrokinematics. In the mainly we are studying the velocity and acceleration. Then naturally the fluid flow we are described in terms of two principles, that is Lagrangian principle, and another is Eulerian principle. Okay. This is description of fluid flow. The fluid flow is described based on the Lagrangian principle or Eulerian principle. So, what this Lagrangian principle states? In the Lagrangian fluid principle, you consider single particle of fluid or a single fluid particle, okay, and observe its behavior in the motion. Okay, but very important point is without considering the external agency or external force which is causing the motion. Okay, in the Lagrangian principle, the description of fluid flow is we are considering a single particle, and we will study the behavior or geometry of motion of that fluid particle when it is under the motion. Okay, means we are carrying the study on a single fluid particle in case of Lagrangian principle. Okay, the behavior of single fluid particle when it is under the motion, the study is or the description of flow is called Lagrangian principle. But in case of Eulerian principle, we are considering a point in the space. Okay, when fluid particle is passing across this space or this section, so the behavior of this fluid particle, means we are describing the fluid flow in case of Eulerian principle with respect to space and time, mathematically speaking, with respect to space and time. Okay, so that is in the Lagrangian principle we are considering a single particle, and we are studying its behavior. When its behavior means its velocity, to know its velocity and acceleration when it is under the motion. But in case of Eulerian principle, we are considering a particular points. Okay, you select one section or one point. When that fluid particle passes through that point, you see of the study of fluid motion. When the fluid particle passes through that point, that is description of fluid flow with respect to Eulerian principle. So normally in the kinematics we are using the Lagrangian principle. Normally in the study of hydrokinematics we are using the Lagrangian principle. Means in the Lagrangian principle we are considering a single fluid particle and we are studying its geometry of the single fluid particle when it is under the motion, or behavior of single fluid particle when it is under the motion. Whatever geometry we are describing, that description of that geometry is based on the Lagrangian principle. Okay, so with this now let us study the velocity. Okay, next is two important terms, velocity and acceleration. Okay, velocity is denoted by the symbol V, capital V, and acceleration you can represent by symbol E. Okay, now what is velocity? Velocity is what? What is the dimension of velocity? It is meter per second. That is, when the fluid particle is moving, at some instant of time, this is the position of the fluid particle. Okay, let this point is x1. Okay, then at some other instant of time, this is the position of the same fluid particle, that is x2. So x2 minus x1, what it gives? It gives you the change of position of fluid particle from x1 to x2 with respect to time. This gives you velocity. Of fluid particle, means change in position. Okay, change in position from one point to another point at known instant of time, at measured instant of time. Okay, suppose in 1 second, the position of fluid particle is changing from x1 to x2. Suppose this distance is 1 meter. Okay, between x1 to x2 is 1 meter. Then what is the velocity of this fluid particle? It is 1 meter per second. So this I am going to call as ds. That is change in position with respect to time, dt. That is ds by dt. So V I am going to denote as ds by dt when dt limit tends to 0. Okay, what is ds? ds is the change in position. So change in position divided by time, that is known as the velocity. We also know that the velocity is a vector term. Velocity is a vector term. What is vector? Vector means it is having three components. So velocity, the vector v in the space is having three components. That is, suppose this is a three-dimensional space. This is x-axis, this is y-axis, this is z-axis. Suppose this is your velocity. Okay, velocity is a vector term. Vector means what? It should have magnitude, it should have direction, and also you should know the point of application. Okay, vector is defined completely by three terms. That is, the velocity is defined by its magnitude, by its direction, and also by its point of application. So whenever you want to define the velocity, you define the velocity by its direction, by its magnitude, and by its application. So when, let us take, this is the velocity of the fluid particle in the space, then its component in the x direction is u, then projection of this, its component in the y direction is v, and same thing I am going to project here, and okay, this is the projection of the same v, and this is the w. This is the w. Okay, so this is the velocity vector in the space. This velocity vector is defined completely by its magnitude, by its direction. So this is the arrow mark shows you the direction of this velocity and point of application. So when it is vector, it means it's having three components. One is in the x direction, another one is y direction, and another one is in the z direction. When projecting it in the three planes, in the xy plane, in the xz plane, and also in the zy plane. Okay, so in the zy plane. So it means what? V, capital V is the vector. Its components are u, v, w. So u, v, w are defined as its velocity components in the x direction. So now what is u? U is what? This distance. Okay, projection of this in the x direction. So this is dx. So dx by dt, this gives you, when dt tends to 0, this gives you the velocity component in the x direction. Similarly, v is equal to dy by dt, when dt tends to 0. What is dy? This is dy. This is the change of velocity in the y direction. So similarly, this is your dz. So w is equal to dz by dt tends to 0. So dx by dt is equal to u, dy by dt is equal to v, and dz by dt is equal to w. U, v, w are what? U, v, w are the rectangular components of velocity vector which is in the space. Rectangular velocity, the v is the velocity in the space. Its rectangular components are u, v, w in the direction of x, y, z. U is equal to dx by dt, v is equal to dy by dt, and w is equal to dz by dt. So the rectangular components you can represent by the small symbols u, v, w. U is velocity component in the x direction, v is the velocity component in the y direction, and w is the velocity component in the z direction. So now what is v? V is the function of x, y, z and t, right? V is the function of x, y, z and t, because v is the function of u, v, w. V is the function of u, v, w. Again this u is the function of x and t. Again this u is the function of x and t. Okay, so therefore v is the function of x, y, z and t. Okay, so now next is we will discuss the acceleration. What is the acceleration? Acceleration is what? Okay, the dimension of velocity you know, that is meter per second. So what is the acceleration? The dimension of this is meter per second square. Okay, so the velocity is distance divided by time. Velocity is distance divided by time. Acceleration is what? Distance divided by square of the time. It means change in velocity with respect to time. Change in terms of mathematical words, or mathematically speaking, the change of velocity with respect to time is the acceleration. dv by dt is the velocity, is the acceleration of fluid particle. So V is the velocity. The change in velocity with respect to time is the acceleration. Okay, the rate of change of velocity with respect to time is the acceleration. So now let us see. Okay, so this acceleration is also vector. This acceleration is also a vector. Acceleration is also a vector. Whenever you want to define the acceleration, because it is a vector, it is having three components. It is having the three components. So in the ax is the acceleration in x direction, acceleration component in x direction. Ay, acceleration of fluid particle in y direction, and Az is equal to acceleration in z direction. So Ax is equal to what? Ax is equal to change in velocity in x direction. What is the velocity in x direction? It is u. So du by dt, as dt tends to 0 limit, then this is Ax, that is acceleration in the x direction. Ay is what? Change in velocity in the y direction. So change in velocity in y direction means velocity in the y direction is v. Its change in velocity with respect to time, that is dv by dt, limit dt tends to 0. So this is the acceleration in the y direction. Then Az is equal to dw by dt, then limit dt tends to 0. So these three are the acceleration components, and u, v, w are the velocity components. Okay, so let us take this as equation 1. Let us take this as equation 1. Now, let us observe equation 1. U is what? U is the function of x, y, z. U is the function of x, y, z, and also time t. V is also the function of x, y, z, t. W is also the function of x, y, z, t. Okay. Hence, the total derivatives. Okay. Let us take du by dt. Du by dt is nothing but Ax. Okay. Is nothing but Ax. This is equal to, now I will take, because this u varies with respect to time and space, okay, with respect to x, y, z. So I will take dava u by dava x. Then since this x is also the function of time, this x is also, because u is the function of time, dx by dt. Dx by dt. Okay. Plus, why I am taking this derivative terms? Because u is the function of x, y, z and t. U is the function of x, y, z and t. So next is dava u by dava y, dy total derivative, dy by dt, plus dava u by dava z, then dz by dt plus dava u by dava t and dava t by dava t, or dt by, sorry, not this is total, dt by dt. So now Ax equal to du by dt. This is equal to, what is dx by dt? Dx by dt is u. So dx by dt I am substituting u, dava u by dava x plus dava y by dava t is v. So v dava u by dava y plus w, because dava z by dava t is equal to w, dava u by dava z, this is equal to dava u by dava t. So whenever you want to describe or to know the acceleration component in the x direction, so Ax is equal to u dava u by dava x plus v dava u by dava y plus w dava u by dava z plus dava u by dava t. So similarly, let us write Ay is equal to what? dv by dt, dv by dt. Again this v is the function of what? X, y, z and t. Again this v is the function of x, y, z and t. Using same principle, that is dava, this is equal to dava v by dava x dx by dt plus dava v by dava y dy by dt plus dava v by dava z dz by dt plus dava v by dava t dt by dt, or this Ay is equal to dx by dt is u. So u dava v by dava x plus v dava v by dava y plus w dava v by dava z plus dava v by dava t. This is the acceleration component in the y direction. This is the acceleration component in the y direction. Similarly, Az is equal to dw by dt. Az is equal to dw by dt. So this is equal to dw dava w by dava x dw by dt, sorry, dx by dt plus dw by dava w by dava y, then dy by dt plus dava w by dava z dz by dt plus dava w by dava t dt by dt. So Az is equal to u dava w by dava x plus v dava w by dava y plus w dava w by dava z plus dava w by dava t. So this is the acceleration components in the z direction. So this is the how to this in the kinematics will study the geometry of fluid motion with respect to velocity, acceleration, etc., without considering the external force which is causing the motion. Okay, so in the analysis of velocity or in the calculation of velocity, that is dx by dt, we are not considering the external force which is causing this velocity in the x direction. So without considering the external force which is causing the motion of the fluid, the study of geometry, that is nothing but the study of various components, that is velocity, acceleration, etc., that is known as the kinematics or statics of fluid flow. Statics of fluid flow. Okay, so in this class we will discuss how to calculate the velocity component, that is u in the, because u is the function of only x, so it is dx by dt, dy by dt, dw by dz, dz by dt. Then we know acceleration. Acceleration is also a vector, and this acceleration is, whenever you want to define the acceleration, you define it by its magnitude, direction and point of application. So this acceleration component in the space is also having three components in the xyz direction. So these components in the xyz direction are called the rectangular components of acceleration. So ax is the rectangular component of acceleration a in the x direction, ay is the acceleration component of acceleration a in the y direction, az is the acceleration component of acceleration a in the z direction. And since acceleration and velocity are the functions of both space and time, both the space and time. Okay, the velocity is also going to change from space to space and also with respect to time. Whenever the fluid is under the motion, its velocity is changing with respect to space and also with respect to time. Similarly, acceleration is also going to change with respect to space and time. So based on this, we are classifying the types of flows. Okay, based on the variation of velocity with respect to velocity and with respect to space and time, the variation or change in velocity and change in acceleration with respect to space and time. So we are going to classify the types of flows. Okay, based on the velocity and acceleration, the types of flows are classified as uniform flow and non-uniform flow, steady flow, unsteady flow, one-dimensional, two-dimensional and three-dimensional flows, laminar flow and turbulent flow, rotational flow and irrotational flow. So what is uniform flow? Okay, the fluid flow is said to be uniform when its velocity and acceleration components are remain same with respect to space. With respect to space means remains constant. Okay, at any instant of space or at any point, if the velocities remain, suppose if you have 2 points, okay, if you have 2 points, fluid is under the motion. We are not causing the external force which is causing the motion. Okay, this is the space occupied by the single particle, okay, that is x1, and at this point the velocity is v, and this is the point, it is x2. If at this point also the velocities remain same v, okay, when the fluid particle moves from x1 to x2, but if velocities remain same, the type of flow is called uniform flow. Oh, okay, so the physical definition of the uniform flow is what? If the velocity component and acceleration component remains constant with respect to time, with respect to space. It means what? Du by dx or w by x, okay, this is equal to 0. W by y is equal to 0, or w by z is equal to 0, or w by x equal to 0. Means the variation in the velocity components, that is u, v, w, remains constant with respect to x, y, z, with respect to space. I am talking only with respect to space. If that is velocities remains constant or acceleration remains constant, it is called as the uniform. That is the physical definition. Then mathematically, if the derivative of velocity component in the x direction with respect to x is equal to 0, then you say that the flow is uniform in the x direction. Okay. Similarly, if the velocity in the y direction, that is dava vy dava y, and similarly dava wy dava z remains same. Okay. So it means what? Mathematically speaking, dava u by dava x equal to 0, dava v by dava y is equal to 0, dava w by dava z is equal to 0. Okay. So if these derivative terms are not exist means the dava u by dava x, dava u by dava v by dava y, dava w by dava z equal to 0, it means the flow is uniform. Otherwise, the flow is non-uniform. If these differential terms are not equal to 0, or if the variation is there with respect to x, y, z, then means if the velocity is going to change, with respect to space, then it is called non-uniform flow. If the velocity and accelerations remain same with respect to x, y, z, then it is the uniform flow. Okay. The physical definition is very, very simple. If the velocity component remains same in the x, y, z direction, it is uniform flow. If the velocity remains same in the x, y, z direction, it is non-uniform flow. Or dava u by dava x equal to 0, it is uniform flow. If dava u by dava x is not equal to 0, it is non-uniform flow. Okay. So based on velocity and acceleration components, we are classifying whether the flow is uniform flow or it is non-uniform flow. So to know whether the flow is uniform, whether the flow is non-uniform, you see whether the velocity remains constant in the xyz direction or not. If it remains constant, we say it is uniform flow. If it is not constant, then you can say it is the non-uniform flow. Similarly, steady flow and unsteady flow, it means that steady flow means if the velocity and acceleration components remains constant with respect to time, that is dava u by dava t is equal to 0, dava v by dava t is equal to 0, dava w by dava t is equal to 0. So if this terms, this is what dava u by dava t is what? It is the variation of velocity component in the t direction. It means with respect to time. That is dava v by dava t is variation of velocity with respect to time t. If these variations remains constant, then you can call it a steady flow. If these variation not remains constant, you can means dava u by dava t is not equal to 0, dava v by dava t is not equal to 0, dava w by dava t not equal to 0, you can call it as unsteady flow. Then you have one-dimensional, two-dimensional and three-dimensional flow. It means that if the velocity and acceleration varies only in one direction, either x, y, z direction, then you can call it as a one-dimensional flow. If the velocity and accelerations are going to change with respect to x and y, then you can call it as a two-dimensional flow. If the velocity and accelerations are going to change with respect to x, y, z direction, then you can call it as a three-dimensional flow. Then you have the laminar flow and turbulent flow. So in case of the laminar flow, so the physical definition, the fluid flow is very smooth and it flows layer by layer. So mathematically we are satisfying the Reynolds number. So Reynolds number Re is equal to rho VL by mu. So in the next classes we will discuss in detail about the Reynolds number, significance of Reynolds number. Okay, so if the Reynolds number is less than 400, then it is laminar flow in case of the flow through pipes. Okay, and if it is more than 2000, then it is called as a turbulent flow. Okay, that is the physical definition is laminar flow is a very smooth flow, and the flow here takes place layer by layer. Turbulent flow is a disturbed flow. Okay, that is the physical definition. So mathematically speaking, you have to satisfy the Reynolds number. So based on the Reynolds number, the flow is classified as the laminar flow or turbulent flow. Then the rotational flow and irrotational flow means, rotational flow means what? When the fluid particle is under the motion, it also rotates about its own centroid, then you can call it is a rotational flow. When the fluid particle is under the motion, and also if the fluid particle rotates about its centroidal axis, then it is the rotational flow. Or in terms of angular velocity, if angular velocity is 0, it is the rotational flow. If angular velocity is there, it is the rotational flow. So we will stop the class at this point. In the next class, we will derive the differential 3-dimensional continuity equation. Okay, thank you.